Los quesos en casa tienen vitaminas, rápidos de hacer, en cualquier cocina. Tan fácil como pelar mandarinas. Quesitos en casa, fáciles de hacer son. El doctor Quesero te enseña con sabor. Quesitos en casa, fáciles de hacer son. El doctor Quesero te enseña con sabor. Hago queso en mano, también queso pera. Costeño en matera, pay, papel y zulia. Raspado de crema. Quesitos en casa, fáciles de hacer son. El doctor Quesero te enseña con sabor. Quesitos en casa, fáciles de hacer son. El doctor Quesero te enseña con sabor.
Hey everyone, welcome once again to my YouTube channel, Dr. Queso, and to my show as the Cheese Doctor. This is the English version of my Spanish, of my program in Spanish, and I come here every week to teach you how to make cheese. And today we're going to speak about the processed cheeses. Is really cheese what you eat in the supermarket or what you eat in the supermarket? Well, today I'm going to talk if it is or if it is not. And this program is only in English. It's for the people who speak English. And part of my audience is English speakers. So I always try to give content in English and now also answer all these making questions. As I said, today we're going to speak about the processed cheeses. And well, let's go with the presentation. All of us have things to do. And first I have to do the announcement. Now we are 15,000, almost 15,600 subscribers. Thank you all. I really appreciate it. Without you, we don't have any show. So a lot of people are on my channel every week, raising every day, slowly, but just going up every day. And that's yeah. If you want to learn how to make cheese, right place. Places that teach you how to make cheese, but not at the level that I always teach. I directly, I mean, more, I give numbers and I teach how to cheese. I work with parameters that we have to comply with the cheese, and that's the idea that you know what is happening to the cheese. It's not following a recipe. The idea is that you have to know what's happening to the cheese in case you have a problem. You know how to overcome this problem and carry on. Okay. I am developing a cheese making course for beginners, and it's almost ready. The theoretical is already finished. Now I am working in the videos. We're gonna have 18 cheeses in this course. So if you take a course, you for sure will be able to make to learn how to make cheese, and then you carry on doing the cheeses of your own. But this course, you really will be able to make any type of cheese. Not only cheeses from South America, no, any type of cheese. And among the cheese that I'm going to make is we're gonna make fromage blanc, mascarpone. We're gonna make yogurt. We're gonna make queso fresco. We're gonna mozzarella both ways, the express method and the mozzarella with lactic cultures, which give a very young flavor. We're gonna make ricotta, cheddar, but we're gonna cheddar the traditional way with the bandage. Okay, bandage the cheese and wrap it. We're gonna make blue cheeses. I want to make Roquefort. Well, Roquefort is blue cheese. We're gonna make brie. Brie cheese. In my channel, there is a video about camembert now. We're gonna make brie, which is bigger cheese. It's pretty much more or less the same protocol, the same procedure, but the type of the bigger is bigger. We're gonna make halloumi cheese, which is good. We're gonna make Monster, pecorino romano. We're gonna make pecorino romano. It's an Italian. It is from Italy, and we're gonna make Gouda, and we're going to close with we're gonna make Parmesan cheese. All this course include 18 cheeses. So if you want to learn how to make it, to make all this type of cheeses, take the course and I'll have it soon available on my website, and we'll create a sales funnel. But if you don't have the money to pay, you can pay it on quotes. You can pay it on you don't have to give the lump sum upfront. You can pay in by period. I mean, okay, monthly. You can do monthly payments, and you can pay however you want without interest. Okay, so my plan is not to get rich with this. My plan is to, and well, this is one to it. I'm also going to develop a mix to make one type of one of our Venezuelan cheeses very famous, which is palmita cheese. It's just like in probably it's gonna be soon in Amazon. Once you have it, you can prepare up to 100 liters of milk, which is good. Okay, I'm making 2 more videos. I'm going to make oat pancakes, which is with milk stuff. And there is a section a new section on my channel that I have cooking with the cheese doctor. To make oat pancakes, they have milk. The idea is that each product, each recipe that I use in this channel have a dairy product, milk, ice cream, whatever. I already made a yogurt ice cream, and if you haven't seen the video, go for it. And in this case, I'm gonna make oat pancakes with milk, okay, and some other ingredients. And we're gonna make queso, which is a cheese from Argentina. It's a very young cheese. It's ripened and strong texture. Well, we're gonna make. I'm working on it. It's gonna be. The video is gonna be released pretty soon. If you want me to now we are transmitting through Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You need to transmit in another platform like Twitch or something like that, please let me know. Make a comment, and if you want to, if you want me to translate it, I just need to do it in the platform. I don't know because I only use these 3. But if you want me to also transmit the program in maybe I don't know TikTok, whatever, let me know in your comments, and I will do it. And this week we didn't have any new members. Doesn't matter. It's I love you anyway. And let's go with the presentation. And of course, after the presentation, I'm going to answer all the cheese making questions. As I said, this program is in English. If you are Spanish speakers, you might hear if you want. Anyone is welcome, but you will have to your questions in English. Otherwise, go to my Spanish version at 10 o'clock, okay, New Zealand time. This program starts at 11:30, and my name is D. Truxes, and I am the cheese doctor. Okay, let's go with the presentation. Let me share screen and carry on. Okay. This stuff. Okay. Today we're going to speak about cheese. Okay. Now, question: is really cheese what you buy? You know, when you go to the market, when you go to supermarket, you find cheese products that they say that is cheese. Well, that is cheap. The bad news is that not on. There's no really cheese. These are processed cheeses, and I'm going to show you these are processed cheeses. Anyway, if you're a cheesemaker, you also procedure so you guys can take advantage of your. When we make cheese, we have would say 20% waste. Sometimes you can't cut your cheese at the right weight or at the right. You have to cut it. If you are selling pieces, you will never achieve 200 grams. You will get 210, 212, and sometimes you cut at 230, and then you have to recut again to put it more like 210, 208. So what happened with this whole piece? Waste, and you have to you can eat it yourself, or you can reuse it. How do we reuse it? Well, that's what you are here. I'm going to teach you how to reuse it. And in this way, you can use this type of pieces, process, and have because you're going to sell. So, numbers. When you go to the supermarket, for example, in New Zealand, okay, we have a cheese called volumetric, which is in theory Edam, and it costs $11 New Zealand, which is more or less $8. We also have this like a cheddar at 7 bucks. I have Colby, which is another cheese. It's a type of cheddar, which is more or less than $7. Okay, $7 Americans. Okay, and these cheeses are very cheap. Now, is real cheese? Is this real cheese? My question. So, some numbers. So, look, $7 per kilo. Compare well. So to make cheese, this is the milk that I use. To make cheese, I buy the milk in 5.77 New Zealand dollars, 2 liters, which is these are the cheeses that are supermarket. Okay, in theory they're very cheap. So to make this cheese, I buy the milk in $6.5, 2 liters, which is $3.25 per liter. To make cheese, you need 8 liters, which is more or less $26. So $26 only in milk. But let's say that you are buying the milk on a farm, and on the farm you can buy the milk at 0 per liter. Let's say $1. If you buy $1, it would be $8. So the rest is labor. So if you are making cheese and you are selling the cheese at $7, you only have $8 in milk. And in addition to that, if you're gonna use salt, coagulant, which is brand, lactic cultures, etc., let's say that we are spending. So in this case, $8 at $3.25 is $26 per kilo. Okay, because we need 8 liters to make 1 kilo. Let's say that we use cultural rennet. Let's add another dollar. Equipment, another 75 cents. And we have to depreciate it, and this useful life, let's say 5 years or 10 years. And if you divide the whole cost of the equipment and divide it by 10 years, it's going to give you more. The labor, you need to pay people, even if it is yourself, you need to have a salary, included in the numbers. And let's say that you are spending $5. Total cost, $42. If you're making cheap for yourself, $2. As I said, I include labor because your time worth money. Okay, because in the worst case scenario, if you don't include the labor, would be more or less $27, $28 only materials. Okay. If you're selling cheese and you put more or less a decent profit, which is 30%, which will be more or less $10, your selling price would be $42. Let's say that we don't have profit because we're making for ourselves. Would be 32. Let's make it 30. Even less. 30. So the numbers are not matching $10 with $30. So how do we achieve, how these companies can achieve that? Well, the question is, you market at $65 and they only have 105 grams. This is a real mozzarella because it's artisan. It's real mozzarella. If you made the numbers, $6.5 in New Zealand would be $52 per kilo of mozzarella. $52 again, 11 that you buy in the supermarket. The numbers don't match. The only explanation for that is that they are not using cheese. They're using a small amount of cheese, but they are mixing this with some other ingredients, and I'm going to tell you which ones are there. Okay. So, as I said, these companies can make money is by deceiving population, their customers, and making they have processed cheese. They also call them cloth cheese. How do they do it? They take all the waste making process. They grind it, okay, mix it with water. They put something to coagulate them together, to put something to put them together. Because once the cheese is manufactured, it doesn't questionate each other. So they have to use emulsifiers. When these people make cheese, when they make processed cheese, they use up to 90% of cheese. Of course, the lower the percentage of cheese, the cheaper it will be. But they need compulsorily to use parts. Is like it's a product that put all together and give the a decent texture. Okay, of course the cheese, because it's only emulsified, and the emulsifiers are chemicals, and because they only using 51%, they have to increase the flavor. How do they increase the flavor? They put artificial flavor. They also add color, which might be Mano, and they have to put preservative. I'm going to tell you later on which type of preservatives do they use, and also condiments, because you can use herbs and oils to give the cheese another appearance and another flavor. So why do these people do that? The answer is money. They can have more profit. Okay. Also, remember, when you make artisan cheese, if your cheese is real cheese, like mine, or like all artisan manufacturers, all cheese making manufacturers, they have shelf life. Okay, the shelf life will depend on the type of cheese that you make. The drier the cheese, the longer the shelf life. The more moisture is the cheese, the shorter is the shelf. So, but if you make processed cheese, you can extend your shelf life with the same cheese. Okay, and this is why these guys do it, to get a longer shelf life, cheaper product. If the cheese is cheaper, more people will buy it. Okay? But the advantage of the processed cheeses is that the it doesn't proteolize, it doesn't lipolyze, so, or it lipolyzes very slowly, and therefore your shelf life will be longer. I'm not saying that processed cheese is wrong. I'm saying that the companies use this technology to get more profit. Not take advantage of the waste that they have when they manufacture cheeses, and change this into money, and therefore increase their profits, which is valid. Um, Also, and they can produce more volume as well. I'm pretty sure that these people from volumetric, these people, sorry, that these people, this is the own business. They make cheese and they also process the same cheese. But it's not like me, for example, that I make artisan cheese and I use my waste to transform to make processed cheese. In my case, what is I get pieces of cheeses, this waste, and make which is a different process. Okay. Also, if I have a lot of whey, I can make ricotta, and also I can increase my profit with this because I'm making two product, which is cheese. I can make two products because I'm making ricotta and I'm making cheese. So, but in this case, the reason is basically economical. Okay, basic money. It's more or less money. And it's not bad. It's not illegal. It's a different niche. It's a different industry. Okay. Now, how we make processed cheese? To make processed cheeses, as I said before, we have to grab all the waste in cheese. Okay. You do it because you can also use if you have your cheese and it hasn't sold, you have to come up for your client and bring it back to the factory. Instead, you might recycle it. How do you recycle it? Clean it. You clean all the mold that you have and grade it. Okay, grind it. You can grind it, and of course you have to have a recipe of the you prepare. You can make, for example, processed cheddar, which is this is the cheddar or in this case. So have your recipe, the formula of your recipe, and one basic step that you have to comply to is heating. You have your mix must be heated and mixed with the emulsifier. This emulsifier are salts. They call emulsifying salts, and you have to mix and heat all this mixture with emulsifying, which will pasteurize your cheese. You have to normally we heat this paste of cheese and emulsifier and water and stuff. You can heat it at 85 degrees more or less. At this temperature, you have a very sterile product and no bacteria. You have a very safe product for the consumer. And then after once the mixture is heated, you can put it into a mold. You have to let it cool. And once it's cold, put it into a mold. The mold and the cheese will get cold, and then you can pack it or slice it and cut it in and vacuum pack it however you want. Okay. Once it's packed, you can chill them up for conservation, and after that, you can sell it or eat it yourself. As I said, emulsifying salt plays a very protagonic role. This is the key. The emulsifying salt put all things together. So what do we use to emulsify this mix? We use sodium citrate, potassium citrate, which is called Rochelle salt, and we can also use the sodium salt. As I said, these are chemicals, but these chemicals are and they are they tend to make the mix more homogeneous, and therefore your product will be really good. The bad thing is when you heat, you also can use oils and mix oils with the cheese and the emulsifiers and water. You get this type of paste that once it's cold, it will look like a cheese. Well, this is what I wanted to tell you about the cheese making and the process of cheese. As I said, a short topic, but good to know now that when you okay, this is what I wanted to tell you about the process. If you are a cheese, you can take advantage of this technology. You can use your waste, process it, and prepare some other stuff by using these emulsifiers. So the idea is that you may increase your profit. If you increase your profit, because if you this waste is about 30% of your cheese making process. If you lose it, you don't have any profit. You're just moving the money. If you are making cheese for yourself, okay, you can do some other stuff. You can make cheese fingers. You can, with the waste that you have, you can make cheese fingers. You can make ricotta. You can make some other type of food, and then you will have some money. Okay, so as I said, think about it. If you want to read more about it, you Google it. There's a cheese book called I reckon 500 Cheese Question Ask. No, sorry, Cheese Problem Solved is a book that you can find a little bit of information about it. And taking in account that this technology exists and you can apply it in your business, you are a cheese maker. Let's go and answer some questions. I have some channel, and let's see. Okay. Some of the questions are in English, some of the questions are in Spanish. I'll try to translate the English ones, the Spanish ones. Let's see here. It says here, this question I reckon were from last week, but in Spanish. I'm trying to make siete cueros cheese, but the cheese becomes very hard, like mozzarella. Well, his name is Ender. Okay, Ender, look. Basically, mozzarella is a mozzarella. Siete cueros cheese is Oaxaca. They call it also Oaxaca, and they call it quesillo, and it's basically mozzarella. If your mozzarella is too high, is too dry, it's too hard, it's a little bit dry. So put it in water to allow them to hydrate. Put water and put a little bit of calcium chloride because you have the mozzarella has a certain level of calcium. If you put it into the water have no calcium. So due to the osmosis tends to of concentration. The higher concentration will pass all the chemicals tend to pass the lower concentration. So if the water doesn't have calcium, the calcium in your mozzarella will pass to the water and will rehydrate much, and your cheese will become slimy. So put a little bit of calcium chloride to the water, and then your mozzarella won't get slimy, and it will allow time to hydrate. And once it's hydrated, it will be softer. Okay. Let's go to another question. Let's see. He says here, "Hi, cheese doctor. I tried to make queso fresco following recipe, but when I put the rennet, no, that's not the question. The question is from last week. Sorry about that. It says here, purificación is in Spanish. Can I use buttermilk whey, for example, to make a cream or to cook lentils instead of using water?" Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Remember, the whey is the waste of the cheese making process, but it has vitamins, it has calcium. It's a very important source of protein. It also has fat in small amounts, but has fat, and it's very useful for the athletes because it has a lot of proteins. So, but it also might be used for cooking. In next week, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to give you 5 recipes of how to reuse the whey. I'm going to give you 5 recipes, so you'll be able to make them. And one of the uses that you might have is cooking the lentils with the whey. Of course, don't use too much because remember the whey have acidity, might have bitter flavor, so you have to be careful, okay? Because your lentils might be bitter or might become bitter, so you have to be careful, okay? You can also make creams with whey. Don't use too much. I'm going to explain a little bit further how to use the whey in the next program, okay? You can also make ricotta or prepare beverages, which will give you another use. Okay. Okay. Ismundo Campos says, "Doctor, a bit strange for your comment that you can make mozzarella with cheese without lactose. As far as I know, the only what I can get if I use non-lactose milk is ricotta, because most of the milk is ultra pasteurized. Well, let me tell you that there is a video in my channel where I made mozzarella with cheese without lactose. Okay, the only difference in this milk is that the milk doesn't have lactose. The normal milk has lactose, and the other milk, the non-lactose milk, is they have an enzyme called lactase that denature the lactose molecules into two sugars, glucose and galactose. So it's the same protein, it's the same fat, but there is no point. Of course, if the milk is ultra pasteurized, you're not gonna get mozzarella. But if the milk is only pasteurized, you will get mozzarella. So yeah, you will get mozzarella. Of course, you have to make mozzarella with using the express method. If you use the long method, you compulsorily will need to have lactose, because you need the lactose to feed the lactic cultures. If you don't have lactose, your lactic will not produce acid. Therefore, it will not acidify your curd, and you will not be in between the window of pH 5.1 and 5.3. So you have to achieve the same procedure chemical, using acid. What type of acid? You can use citric acid, any food graded acid. You can use tartaric acid, you can use acetic acid, which is vinegar, and you can use citric acid. And you have to diacidify the milk. You will get the right pH, and your mozzarella will go. I mean, it will stretch. Okay. Kenny Mackay is asking here, can you make cheese from oat milk? Apology if this is a daft question. No, Kenny, we don't have daft questions here. Each question is valid, so don't worry about it. Of course, you can make cheese from oat milk, but it's a different type of cheese. Okay, it's a vegan cheese. I have one video in my channel that I make vegan cheddar. So the thing is that to make this type of cheeses with oat milk, you will not be able to use the normal ingredient. You have to use another ingredient. How do you coagulate your oat milk? You have to use tapioca. Okay? You can also use agar, and of course, if you want to ripen your cheese, if you want to ripen your milk to give a little bit flavor, you can use vegan cultures. They will acidify the oat milk. And maybe if you put, I don't know how this. I'm not very familiar with vegan, but if I use my theory, if you and put the lactic culture, you will need to feed the lactic culture. And you have I haven't read the nutrition fact of the oat milk, but if they have sugar, there's no problem. But if they don't have sugar, you have to put a little bit of sugar to feed the lactic culture, so they can acidify the curd or acidify the milk. And once it's acidified, you can use the agar, and the only reason you are acidifying the milk, the oat milk, is to get more flavor. That's it, because it's not going to do anything. Because you're going to coagulate your milk using agar. You can also use gelatin, and your milk will coagulate, and you will be able to make your cheese. Okay. Of course, the flavor of oat milk is way different from the flavor from normal milk. I prefer normal milk. Okay, but I mean, this is me. In your case, you prefer oat milk. As I said, all the options are available and are also welcome. Linda is asking here. I have run out of thermophilic culture and I'm making mozzarella. I am using raw milk. Okay, if you are using raw milk, you don't need lactic culture, of course. To make mozzarella with raw milk, it only has to be made by your own consumption. You cannot sell it, okay, because it's illegal. And if you do that, you have to have a risk management plan in place. This is another story. So, but if you are making mozzarella, you will need to heat your curd. But you could make mozzarella with mesophilic culture. The thing is that you have to get the right acidity. Once you have acidity and you heat curd, your lactic culture will die. But you already achieved the right acidity, the right bandwidth, which is pH 5.1 and 5.3. Once you reach it, you can make your mozzarella, no problem. After you heat it, once you heat your curd, your lactic culture will die because you have to heat your curd at 65 degrees or more or less, or 55. Your curd should be heated at 55, 60 degrees Celsius, and all the lactic cultures at this temperature will die, except the thermophilic ones. But never mind, you already achieved the acidity, and you can strain your curd, and you can make it. Of course, this mozzarella will not reveal more flavor because there is no lactic culture in there. You might have some enzymes that will increase the flavor, but I prefer to make it with lactic culture. If you don't know where to find the thermophilic cultures, go to my website. I have heaps over there. Okay. Let's go with the other one. Catherine Cannon is asking, how many gallons of Jersey milk do I need for basic beginner's recipe? Well, a basic beginner recipe is fromage blanc. I make fromage blanc now, which is white cheese in French. You can use 1 liter of milk. 1 liter. Gallons, you don't need gallons. You need 1 liter. 2 liters max. Okay, because you're making fromage. If you're gonna make queso fresco, you're gonna need maybe 1 gallon of Jersey milk, which is more or less 4 liters, 385, and you can make half a kilo of queso fresco, to put an example. And this is a basic beginner cheese. If you want to know how to make it, go to my channel, and I have a video there that says how to make queso fresco, or how to make fresh cheese. And it was my first video, and it will teach you all the steps. And you can use, if your Jersey milk is from the supermarket, you have to use lactic culture. I teach you in this video how to get the lactic culture from the supermarket, which is yogurt. I use kefir yogurt. So go over there and watch the video, and you will be able to make the cheese. Okay, for sure. Daisy is asking, in USA, how do I recognize my milk when it's non-homogenized? Well, the milk that is not homogenized specifically says so. It says pasteurized, non-homogenized, and therefore, in this way, you will be able to know how to identify your milk. But let's say that your label doesn't say non-homogenized. How you can identify? Very easy. In general terms, the non-homogenized milk has a lot of cream, and when this non-homogenized milk is into the fridge of the supermarket, all the fat tends to go to the surface of the container, of course, and you will see like a layer of fat floating on the bottle. When you see and this layer of fat is a little bit yellow, and you can see it with your eyes. So if you see this layer of fat in your bottle, this is not homogenized. If you don't see any layer, your milk might be homogenized. But if there is a clear layer of cream, this milk is non-homogenized. This is how you can identify. Okay? How are we with the 2 minutes left? Okay. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. I'm gonna get mine. Let's see. Jose, he said, can I stock the brine for other cheeses, or can I use the brine for other cheeses? Yes, you can, Jose. You can use it. How do you want to use it? It's very important. I mean, in general terms, you don't dump the whey. You just reuse it as many as possible. You don't dump it. Of course, if you are making cheese not very frequently, you might use it, keep it for 1 or 2 months, and then dump it because you're not making much. But if you're making cheese every day, you can use it every day. And of course, you have to maintain your brine. You have to pasteurize it. I would say, depending on the use, you can pasteurize it twice a month, or fortnightly, or once a week, depending if you're using, and to kill all the possible or the pathogens that you might have into the brine. Remember that the brine is just water with salt and calcium chloride and vinegar, and this brine, you need to keep it cold, or it will ferment and will produce alcohols and will give a bad flavor to your future cheeses. So make sure you pasteurize it once in a while. I would say once each fortnightly, and you will be able to use it many times. Of course, so it's good practice also to filter it, because when you the cheeses might drop into the brine small pieces of cheese. So it's a good practice as well to to filter it. And once it's filtered, you can achieve a clean brine and use it for the next cheese. And also have to um, test the level of salt. When you are using your brine, part of the salt goes to the cheese. And the cheese will tend to expel water into the brine. So your brine eventually will become weaker. So you have to reinforce with more salt. A rough rule to know how to get a saturated brine, which is more or less 20%, is by putting one egg. If the egg floats, your brine is saturated more or less 20%. So if it goes to the bottom, it's not saturated. You need to put more salt. Okay, let's go with the another questions. Carlos Valera says here, to make Oaxaca cheese, how do I buy the instrument to measure pH? And how do you call the instrument to measure the pH? And which is the best one? Well, Carlos, look, to make Oaxaca, you need to measure pH. To measure pH, you need pH meter. What type? Well, if you're just starting, you can use these that are from aquariums for the aquariums, and they're very cheap. They cost maybe $20, $30. I have in my website. Go to my website, drcom, and you might buy it over there, or you might buy from. If you want to be more sophisticated, I use Hana one, Hana pH. They cost $200. But these are professional ones. So, but if you are just starting, buy the cheap one. The important thing that your pH meter should allow to calibrate. Calibrate your pH meter. You don't know if your reading is. So you have to, and each time you use your pH meter, you have to calibrate. And of course, each pH meter have all the probes, all the probe liquids that this liquid have a special acidity. You have it at 4.0, pH 4.0 and 7.0. So you have to make two solutions. Put it first in the 7, and then put it in the 4.0 and calibrate it. Each meter has their own procedure. You just need to read the instructions, but it's very important that you calibrate it. Any pH meter is right. Okay. To start, once you become more professional, you can get a more professional one and a more sophisticated one. Let's go with the other question. It says here, I need to coagulate. Sorry, how much rennet in pills do I need to coagulate 20 liters of milk? And at what temperature do I need to heat the milk? Thank you. Well, look, if you are using pills, your pills are not very accurate because when you cut your pill, you're not gonna cut it the same every time. So, but if this is the only way you can coagulate your milk, try to grind your pill, grind it, and make like a dust or pulverize it. Make it like a dust. Weight this dust of the pill, or maybe and do the same with 2 or 3 pills and get an average. Once you have an average of weight per pill, the manufacturer will tell you that each pill is for, let's say, to 20 liters. So if you have your average in grams, now you will know that this average will become for 20 liters and make your numbers. If one, let's put it in round numbers. If one pill is 1 gram and this 1 gram's average, you can curdle, let's say, 20 liters of milk or 200 liters of milk to 8 liters of milk, how many grams will you need? And then you will make the numbers. And of course, you won't use a pill anymore. You will have to pulverize it every time, or each time that you're making cheese. But the amount of rennet that you're going to use will be more accurate. Otherwise, if you put too much rennet, your cheese might become a little bit bitter. So you have to be careful. To avoid this, use liquid rennet, and you won't have any problem. The liquid rennet just comes liquid, and just put 3 milliliters, depending on the amount of cheese that you are making. In my case, I use both. I use liquid rennet and powder rennet. The liquid rennet that I use is vegetable rennet, and the manufacturer says 0.7 milliliters of rennet per liter of milk. So if I'm going to make, let's say, 10 liters of milk, I use 7 milliliters of liquid rennet. It will depend, but each manufacturer will give you a different dose, depending on the strength of the rennet. So you have to read the instructions of the manufacturer's recommendations. Let's see. Okay. It says here, okay. Lillian is asking, if I use calcium chloride liquid, how much amount do I need to prepare 2 liters of brine? Okay, this video is regarding to my regarding to the brine that I prepare in my video. Okay, in this video I prepare 2 liters of brine, and I use 10 grams of calcium chloride, 99.99%, which is food grade. If you are using, remember, I use 10 grams of calcium chloride to prepare 2 liters of brine. If I'm going to use calcium chloride in liquid, which is at 30%, you have to make a ruler. If I use 30 grams of calcium chloride to prepare 100 milliliters, the 10 grams that I prepare, how many milliliters do I need? The answer is 10. Because if I use 10 to prepare these 2 liters, remember 30 grams of calcium chloride is to prepare 100 milliliters. So you will need 30 milliliters of calcium chloride solution, 30%, to prepare the same 2 liters of brine. Okay, so the answer is you will need 30. You will need 10. You will need 30 milliliters of calcium chloride at 30% solution. 30 to prepare 2 liters of brine. Okay. I'll repeat again. To make brine, to make calcium chloride, or to make a 30% solution calcium chloride, you will need 30% of calcium chloride in 100 milliliters of water. So you have to make the numbers. If I use 30 milliliters of calcium chloride per 100 milliliters of water, the 10 that I need in my recipe in powder, how much in solution will be? It will be 30 milliliters if you make the numbers. Okay. Well, the answer is use 30 milliliters of calcium chloride solution, 30%, and put into your brine, and you will achieve the same result. Okay. Okay, we have 6 minutes left. Enough. And we have 2 more questions. I reckon 2, no. 3 more questions. Rafael asking, hi, Chilotro. I want to make whey buttermilk. Question. Once it takes the 12 hours of fermentation, do I need to pasteurize my whey? And what temperature do I use? Look, if you are making buttermilk, You let it ripen, of course, and once it's ripened, make the buttermilk, shake it, and separate your fat from your whey. You get the buttermilk. You don't need to pasteurize this because your cream is already pasteurized. So you don't, of course, if your milk is raw, you need to pasteurize it. But if your milk is already pasteurized, you don't need to pasteurize anything. Of course, you have to sanitize your containers and follow all the sanitizing procedures and all the sanitizing protocols to get a safe product for your consumer or for somebody. But you don't need to pasteurize it if you are starting with a pasteurized product. If you are not, you need to pasteurize it. What temperature you should use? You can pasteurize at 69 degrees Celsius and keep this temperature for 1 minute and then cool it down to 5 degrees. Okay. If you're going to reuse this buttermilk, you don't need to go to 5 degrees. You can go to the temperature of your recipe. But if you're just gonna store it in your fridge, lower it as soon as possible. I would say 10, 15 degrees, and then put it into the fridge, and it will become colder. Okay. Blonde Red is asking here: is queso de mano the same as mozzarella? Can you use leche bronca? Leche bronca is how you call raw milk in Mexico. Yes. Queso de mano. Not only queso de mano, double cream cheese, which is a cheese from Colombia, burrata, provolone, pearl cheese, another cheese from Colombia, Oaxaca, quesillo, siete cueros cheese. All these cheeses are pasta filata cheeses, and mozzarella is another pasta filata cheese. So the answer is yes. All these pasta filata cheeses are mozzarellas. You don't call them mozzarella, you call them pasta filata. Or string cheese. You also call them string cheese. And of course, you can make it with raw milk. The thing is that when you make it with raw milk, unless your milk is safe, you're not sure if this milk is pasteurized because it's raw, it's not pasteurized, and if you don't know the source of your milk, you might get sick. And this milk might have E. coli, will have native yeast and Clostridium tyrobutyricum. I mean, it's not a good practice to make mozzarella with raw milk. It's a good practice to pasteurize it. And as a matter of fact, all the international standards state that you have to pasteurize your milk if you're going to make fresh cheeses. Okay? Okay, let me go with the last question, see if I have here. And Shannon is asking, can milk be frozen and used later to make cheese? Well, cow's milk is not recommended to get frozen because the cold will fracture the molecules of protein. But you might freeze cheese if you want. Okay. But well, in your case, you're asking about the milk. You can. I have seen results. I haven't done it, but I have read that people is freezing goat milk. Yeah, they're freezing goat milk, and they just melt the milk, the milk, and make the cheese with good results. I haven't used it because I hardly make goat milk. I hardly make cheese because I don't like it that much. But yeah, you can melt goat milk, not cow's milk. Okay. Okay. It says here, why my mozzarella is becoming too yellow? Well, your mozzarella is becoming yellow because for two reasons. First reason, your curd may be dehydrated. because of the acidification process. So this is one reason. How to avoid that? Make the cheese, put it to water with calcium chloride, very important, and let it stay there until it hydrates, and they'll become whiter. Leave it maybe half an hour, and then it become whiter. Take it out and cloth dry it, and then vacuum pack it if you want. If you I prefer to vacuum pack it because my cheese will not become slimy. So vacuum pack it. In this way, your cheese will not be yellow anymore because it's already hydrated, but it will not gain more hydration. It will not lose water as well. So it will be maintained. It will be kept at dry moisture for the whole time. Okay. Of course, this mozzarella it has a very short life, so you need to eat it straight away or sell it straight away, depending of what you do. Okay. Okay. I reckon we're okay now. Finish. Yep. We're done. Manal, how are you? You came at the end. I was leaving, but don't worry, I'm going to answer your question. Um, it says here, why a small factory prefer? Why all small factory cheese prefer make traditional way to make mozzarella? Are there any feature? Well, the thing is that in the big factories, why all small factories? No, not necessarily. If you want to make mozzarella the chemical way, the fast way, I make mozzarella. I make mozzarella a lot, and I do it the fast way, citric acid. Why? Because I can make my mozzarella in 2 hours, and I can sell it straight away. Okay. If you wanna do it the traditional way, you will allow the agriculture to acidify first. The advantage is that you will with you doing it the long way, your flavor will be better. Your mozzarella will have more flavor. If you do it, you chemicals like lactic acid, you you will make your mozzarella in 2 hours. The flavor will not be the same. You use mozzarella with vinegar with citric acid, the flavor is not gonna be the same as you do it in the long use the traditional way. The traditional, the express way, it takes, but you can improve your flavor doing it the express way with lipase. Use a little bit of lipase. Of course, the flavor will not be the same as the traditional one, the traditional way, but it will resemble, I would say, 70%. So you can do both. I do both. If I'm in a hurry, I use the express method, lipase a little bit. If I have time, I'll do it. Or if I want to make a special cheese and I want to change the name, or if I'm going to make a cheese for a competition, I do it the long way. The cheese will become with more flavor. Okay, okay, Manal, thanks for coming. As I said, if you guys want my cheese course for beginners, it's almost ready. I'm going to 18. You're gonna make 18 cheeses, and therefore, once you know how to do that, you might be able maybe to teach how to make cheese as well, like I do. Okay. Remember, I was a student like you. So if you want to take my course, it will be available soon. Okay, that's it. And as I always say, just spread the voice that I exist. If you want, I will be here every Saturday at 11:30 p.m. 11:30 a.m. New Zealand time. And as I said, make cheese because life without cheese is like up without a kiss. See you next week.
Quesitos en casa, fáciles de hacer son. El doctor Quesero te enseña con sabor. Quesitos en casa, fáciles de hacer son. El doctor Quesero te enseña con sabor. Quesos colombianos y venezolanos, todo hecho en tu casa, con sabor zuliano y calor humano. Los quesos en casa tienen vitaminas, rápidos de hacer, en cualquier cocina. Tan fácil como pelar mandarinas. Quesitos en casa, fáciles de hacer son. El doctor Quesero te enseña con sabor. Quesitos en casa, fáciles de hacer son. El doctor Quesero te enseña con sabor. Hago queso en mano, también queso pera, costeño en matera, pay, papel y suya. Y hasta doble